this. So. It's pretty much out of pocket during Valentine's. You don't know.
I'm just draining clients. And I can't, because I don't complain about it. I told myself I'll be happier when I do 45 started. It's gonna take a little while. Music happen now, I don't like waiting for shit. I'm only gonna do the work, it's just waiting for it.
Okay, it's time. Should we go ahead and start, or?
I guess. No.
We'll talk about this speaking.
Hello?
Hello. That one too. It's speaking to us. Interesting.
I like that bowl.
Hmm?
I like the bowl.
Don't worry.
I like it. Yeah, I like it.
Hello, everybody. It's Pete Cospin with the Empowered Joyful Living. We're here finding love in all the right places. And that's going to be really kind of the theme tonight. Of course, it's getting really close to Valentine's Day. So that's usually a favorite thing that people are really talking about at this time. We're going to try to look at some different ways of really looking at love and what love really is. Some of the questions that we've posed, how has love been treating you? What in the heck is love anyway? What does love have to do with it, as Tina Turner would say? We're going to really explore this thing called love and find out how we can get it and give it. So where I want to really start tonight, there's four of us presenters. There's Mary Catherine Honeycutt, there's Melissa Posey, Cassandra Stone King, and myself, Pete Casavone. And this is a series that we're doing, once a month. And the way I want to really start tonight is I want to go ahead and start with a meditation. I'm going to bring out my Tibetan bowl and do a little bit of meditation, just kind of get us in the zone, get us really ready to really receive whatever Spirit has for us this evening. So if everyone will just kind of sit comfortably, put your feet flat on the floor, sit with your back straight from the tailbone all the way up to the top of your head, and just put your feet down loosely on your lap. We'll begin, okay? So, my impulse of it. So what is love anyway? Love is actually the only energy out there that exists. Everything is love. Everything comes to you with love. That's whether or not you and I interpret it as love. When we learn how to do that, when we learn how to know that this is really just a master's class, this life we have here on earth really ain't that darn important. Because what we are is we're spiritual beings having a human experience right now. And we get all wrapped up into these things of where I have to be this and I have to do that. I have to have that. And if I don't, there's all this judgment we really place upon ourselves. And when we have these situations that we don't really like, we take them as punishment. We take them as judgment on ourselves. And they really aren't. What they are, they're spaces for us to grow. And the really important thing to do is when you're in a situation where you're not enjoying yourself, you're not having fun, you're in a sad space or depressed or whatever it is. The thing to ask yourself and to ask the situation is, what are you here to teach me? And you can begin to ask consciously, what are you reminding me of? Because what life does, because we are in a master's class, remember that's very important to remember. What life does is it will just continue to bring back the same situations over and over again. Different spaces, different places, different, everything might be different, but it makes you feel the same. And so when you feel some way, start asking yourself, what is the earliest memory that I can have or that I have that I felt this way? And you're going to be really surprised if you can get into that conscious space of the answer that you get. I know it's always either my 5-year-old or my 12-year-old self that comes up whenever I'm in that space and I'm asking that conscious question of, what is this reminding me of? And, even as, the spiritual space that I am right now, it's still a space of where I have to remind myself that this is simply a lesson for me to learn. And it's really something to let go of. It's something that I'm really working on for even myself, is this new idea of, but I'm spiritual. Why do I feel so yucky? And it's about giving yourself the space to know that you are having a human experience. And that when you feel yucky, what that is really doing is it's giving you the contrast between what is possible and where you know that it's possible for you to go to. And it gives you the space of knowing what does serve you, what doesn't serve you. It gives you a space of knowing when you're thinking differently than Spirit does. Because let's just imagine that you were God and you were creating a human being. And you wanted to give that human being a clear-cut way to know when they're walking in a path that brings them to their highest good. Now, you might say to yourself as God, you might say, they already hear enough. I don't want to give them any more here. They already see enough. They smell enough. They taste enough. They feel on their skin enough. What is one clear-cut way that I can give them an indicator of when they're walking in a path that takes them to their highest good and when they're not? What if I just make them feel the path? So perhaps when you feel good, that is because you're in line with your highest path that's possible. When you feel bad, maybe it's not a punishment or a judgment. Maybe it's just an indicator. Like when you're going down the highway and you go a little bit off the road, you hear that little ba-dum. Maybe all it is just guidance showing you that you aren't seeing the opportunity in the situation, that you're looking at the challenge, that you are focusing on your limitations instead of your divinity. Because if you do accept yourself as a divine being, as a spiritual being having a human experience, that's something you really need to kind of really wrap your brain around, because then that means that every experience you're having is a divine experience. And I know it doesn't feel like that, but if you can start approaching things like that, it changes the game on everything. It takes away the importance of some things. It takes away the ability of things to make you feel less than. And that is where you can step into true power. When you no longer need to have things this way or that way, or have people treat you in a certain way, or have certain things in your life. When you're in a space where you can decide who you are, where you can proclaim who you are, and you take away the right, you take away the ability of situations and people and objects or whatever it is to tell you whether you're right or wrong, good or bad. whether you're being judged or not, or whether you're happy or not. And you can make the decision for yourself of whether or not you're happy. Then you step into true power. Because the thing of it is, in almost every situation in life, there's somebody in this world that would enjoy that. Every job that you don't like, there's somebody out there that would love that job. Every car that you want to get rid of, there's somebody out there that would like that car. Every relationship that you have with someone, there's actually someone out there that would enjoy that relationship. And that's not a judgment on you. It's just simply a space of knowing that it's all about how you're looking at it. It's all about how you're feeling about it. Because everything that comes into this world, it comes in meaningless. We're the ones that give meaning to things. We also have the power to decide what we like and what we don't like. And it starts with the decision. It starts with the proclamation. And this has so been true for me for a couple weeks. And I want to give a shout out to my beautiful Cassandra Stone King, because she gave me a spiritual bath. I'm hoping she's going to talk about this a little bit later. And what she told me, and this is, I'm going to be real because I'm real folk. I'm real folk when I talk up here. I don't try to make myself some big spiritual guru. I tell you about my real walk, because I've been through a really kind of a jinky place here lately. And what I realized I was not doing, I was not taking the proper care of myself. I was not taking the proper care of my spirit. I was not giving myself the love that I need to give. I was giving my clients all that love and taking care of them and thinking I was some superpower armor lead-coated, knight in shining armor that didn't need all that kind of stuff. And like Cassandra, she's like, you need to find that sacred space. And she gave me a spiritual bath, and it has been an amazing, really an amazing journey. And it gave me the time or the ability to start proclaiming forth what my life was going to be. And when you proclaim forth, the interesting thing to know is you don't have to know how. You don't have to know when. You don't have to know from who. We get into these cursed ideas of that we're human doings, that it's all our responsibility to figure out how it's going to be. I mean, when you make the statement of, I want this particular house, or I want to be with that particular person, or I want to feel this way, then we automatically go into this, but how can I do it? And we start making all these lists, which is not a bad thing to make lists of things, because what that does for you is possibly open up the opportunities, possibly open up the possibilities of how to do it. But we think it's up to us, and we think if we can't figure out a plausible way to make it happen, then we take away, we don't take away the desire, we take away the ability for ourselves to achieve the desire. Because the tough part is, once you have a desire, you can't ever take it back. Your higher being knows that it's possible for you. And once you've expressed a desire, it goes on a ledger. It's handwritten in marble. It does not get erased. So whether or not you think you can do it, you're always going to have that desire. And if you have a desire that you don't think is possible, every one of us knows that's a really bad place to be. So if you really wrap your brains around, I want to keep coming back to this, that you are a spiritual being having a human experience, that you are of the divine, then what isn't possible for you? And the Bible even talks about how, if we ask for a piece of bread, we're not going to be given a snake or scorpion. And what that really says to me is that if we say to our God or our spirit or whoever, however we connect, as long as it's with love and light, I'm totally open to it. But if we ask whatever all that is for something, that is what's going to come to us. We're not going to get some other, idea that we're not going to get something that isn't like that or something that is even better. Because, if we really do accept that, we are surrounded by loving energy, whether you think of it as God the Father or however. I mean, just imagine how much you love your children, and then think about how much all that is loves you. So if you express that you want something, of course you're going to have it. And so each one of us is going to be talking about our different aspects of spirit, how we really view it. For me, I'm an angel intuitive medium. I'm the angel encourager. So for me, I really come from the angelic realm. And to be quite honest with you, the angels are bored to tears. And why? Because we won't proclaim who we are. We won't proclaim what we'll be. We won't proclaim how we're going to be in this day. And I will tell you the truth. Every single time I've woken up in the morning and I've said, this is going to be an amazing day. It has been an amazing day. And I'm not anything special. It's just that I make the proclamation, and then I step the heck out of the way. Because what's the first thing that you're going to want to do as a normal human being? And there's a difference between normal and natural. I'm going to say normal, that's the norm, what really happens out there in society, is when you make that proclamation, this is going to be an amazing day, then all of a sudden you're like, okay, how am I going to make this an amazing day? But guess what? That's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is simply to make the proclamation of how it's going to be. So think about how, when you start deciding that this is going to be a bad day, think about how you're making that proclamation. And you hear people say it. Start going out there into the world. Start listening to the words that come out of people's mouth. Because it even says, and I know I refer to the Bible a lot, and that's just simply my reference, and there's other references as well. But God actually called forth the earth with his spoken word. The word was God. And we're told later in the Bible that we are God's. So what I'm saying by that is your words have incredible power. Incredible power. You speak forth everything. Absolutely speak it forth. So start doing a little bit of a test. Start noticing the people around you. Start listening to the actual words that come out of their mouth. And then start looking at their life experiences. And what you're going to find is there is an exact match correlation. And the great thing about that is then all you have to do is change your words. Because our normal state of being is joy. Our normal state of being is abundance. Our normal state of being is health. That is absolutely our normal state of being. If we can accept that as our normal state of being, then that means it's actually easier for us to step into health, abundance, happiness, joy, than it is for us to step into fear, anxiety, depression, sickness, disease. And I'm not throwing out any shade on anybody, trying to make anybody feel guilty or feel judgment or punishment right now in this moment. What I'm just saying to you is if you wrap around your brain around the idea that it's actually easier to do those other things, you can give yourself the possibility. Because what's one thing I know? I know that when you're in fear or anxiety, your mind is just spinning. And you know why it's spinning? It feels like a little hamster wheel. Because you have to keep reminding yourself of what you're fearful of and anxious of. What's the one thing you don't do when you're in joy? Your head isn't spinning. You're in clarity. Why? You don't have to remind yourself why you're in joy because it's your natural state of being. So do you see how when you're fearful and anxious and depressed, you have to continually remind yourself, oh yeah, I'm fearful because, oh yeah, I'm fearful because, oh yeah, I'm fearful because. And there's so many different ways that you can hack yourself back into being joy through your breath, through just finding a mindful space. Sometimes it's through taking action. Sometimes it's by sitting still. Try all those things, see which one works for you. And you're going to find one. But the main thing is for you to start proclaiming forth who you are. For you to start proclaiming forth how life will be for you. For you to make the decision. Because I'm telling you, the angels are bored. They're sitting there waiting for you to say what it will be. For you to start believing that. For you to start expecting that. And that really starts with this whole concept that we're talking about, which is love. And like I said at the first, the only energy that there really is love. Because everything is there for the expansion of all that is. Everything is there for our expansion. Everything is there for the universal expansion. Absolutely everything. There is no punishment. There is no judgment. That is simply how we categorize things. That's how we bonk ourselves over the head. And once you move into that space of, oh, I'm not being judged or punished. I'm just being called forth to be more of who I already am. I'm being called forth to learn this into the next space. That's what I'm being called forth. So I want you to start leading your life from a state of jumping from highest joy to highest joy. Like I always tell my clients, I want you to find that one thing that you can focus on that truly brings you happiness. Not what you think you need to be happy, but what truly brings you happiness. And I'll give an example. My friend that I always quote on this, she won't mind. She told me one time, she said, I need to get a job so that I can get an apartment, so that I can make my family safe. I asked her, I said, does getting the job bring you joy? She said, no. I said, does getting the apartment bring you joy? She said, no. I said, does making your family safe bring you joy? She said, yes. I said, then that is what you focus on. Because we have this concept of, I can only have this with cash. And I can only have cash if I work this horrible job? You know what I mean? We have this whole process. But if you get the concept that everything is just energy, and you allow the universe to bring you things, however it will. Because I'm going to give you an example. I know 4 people who did not have a place to stay. And through a sense of joy, through a sense of that feeling empowerment, all of them, and I believe it was about a 6-month period, all of them were given an opportunity to live somewhere and like take care of somebody else's house for 6 months for free. So not only did they get rent free, they stayed in beautiful, because, you know, when people are like, you know, going to their vacation homes, they're not leaving a dirty little nasty townhouse in the middle of the house. They're leaving a nice house. So what I'm saying to you, I know 4 people that this happened to who did not have a place to stay and then had that opportunity. Did they do it through cash? No. Did they do it through a job? No. But they got what they needed. They got what they needed. So first, about focusing on what truly brings you joy. And then the next thing is to stepping into that highest state of joy that you can. And when I say that, it's not about you always being joyful and jumping around being skippy. It's you stepping into that higher state of being that you possibly can. I'll give you an example. When you are truly depressed, anger feels really cool. Anger feels amazing because it puts you back into power. When you're in a state of anger, frustration actually feels really cool. It really is a good feeling. When you're in frustration, you can usually jump into hope, which feels better. And then you can usually step into the higher states of joy. So when I say stepping into joy, what I'm talking about is stepping into that next highest feeling that you can. I see it as almost like ledges on a cliff that you just kind of bump yourself up to. The next thing is to take inspired action. And in order to get inspired action, you usually have to be in motion. So you know what to do in the next moment. You know if you need to wash the dishes. You know if you need to go take a walk. You know if you need to call that client. You know if you know what you need to do if you need to go grocery shop. You know in the next moment what it is that you need to do. What you're focusing on is what do I do step 10? But that's not your issue. That's not your job to find out what step 10 is. Because the angels always want you to live in the now. And if you knew what step 10 was, you wouldn't be focused on step 1. You'd be focused on step 10. You know, it's kind of like when Christmas is 3 months away. You know, and when you're a kid, you didn't even notice your surroundings for 3 months because every day was consumed with when it's Christmas Day. You know, that's really robbing yourself, actually, of 3 months of time. So taking inspired action, that's where you just simply listen for the inspirations that give you usually a sense of excitement and terrified at the same time. That's usually the greatest place to be because it's a mixture of you being excited by being called forth by Spirit and your ego being terrified because it's now pulling you out of your space. Because your ego is always going to try to love you and keep you in a safe space where it already knows, even if you don't enjoy that space. To the ego, that's a safe space. So it's also about kind of giving your ego a break as well. Let's love our ego because our ego is just there to show us love, to show us protection. But it doesn't always do it the right way. But anyway, and then the final, really the final thing is to really take that walking faith. So if you'll take those 4 steps, and I have to, I'm listening to this myself. Like I say, I talk to I do the real talk, and I don't stand up here and say, hey, I'm this big being that always has everything go exactly. I have to remind myself of this all the time. And so my lesson really for this past month is to start really taking care of me, start taking care of my spiritual connection, start taking care of what I need to do to keep myself in the highest vibration, so that I can then express out that highest vibration to everyone else. So if you can, just really accept that everything comes from love. And I'm going to tell you this, I'm going to give you a little bit of a hint because I have a math degree. And I really learned pretty early in my career, in my math degree, in taking a math degree, there would be these situations that would come up, there would be these problems that would come up, and I could not for the life of me understand what the teacher was talking about. And what I learned was, don't worry about learning the theorem. Get to where you can work the problem. If you can work the problem, guess what? You get an A. And the interesting thing was, when I started focusing on doing the problem and getting it right, about a week later, I'd be like, oh, that's what he was talking about. So what I'm saying to you is, don't be so concerned about the processes. Just do what you need to do to get things to work for you. And if you can do that, if you can keep yourself in that space, and just make the proclamation to yourself that everything is coming to me out of love. Whether you believe it or not, start speaking it. Because what are mantras for? What are repetitious meditations for? They're about those repetitions that start, creating those neural pathways that start changing the way that your brain thinks. Because you can't let anything into this processing center that you don't already have the neural pathways for. And you can absolutely change the way you think. They used to think we couldn't, and now we know all about neuroplasticity. I'm sure you've heard about it a million times. But what it's really talking about is how you can rewire your brain. And it does hurt a little bit at first. It can actually give you a little bit of a headache. But this is a master's class, and you are a master. And you can master this. You got this. I want to tell you that right now, I'm feeling such love from the angels surrounding everybody that is watching this, everybody that's in this room right now, including myself. I've got shivers on my shoulders. They love us so friggin' much, you can't even imagine. They believe in us so much. So if you today don't believe in yourself, that's okay. It's just like I do with my instructor at the gym. There are so many times he says, Pete, go do this. And I'm like, Josh, do you know I can do this? And he's like, absolutely. And I step into Josh's faith because Pete's faith is gone. And guess what happens when I step into Josh's faith? I do it. So that's the same thing with the angels. If you've lost faith in yourself, that's okay. That's okay. Because the angels have got you. They so wrap you in love right now, and they so believe in you. Absolutely. Wrap yourself in that love and that belief. And if you need to hear it from a human being, I'm going to tell you, I love and believe in you. And I know the other ladies here in the room love and believe in you too, and they're going to tell you the same thing. So I'm really excited to hear about what other people say have for us this evening. Like I say, we're all going to be talking about love through our expression of spirit. You've probably heard enough from Pete so far. You're like, my gosh, does that dude ever stop talking? No, sorry. But sometimes I do sit down and listen every single now and then. So who would like to be next? We didn't really come up with a is anybody going to raise their hand, or they're always going to? They're going to have. Okay, I guess this is just the Pete show. I'll just stay up here. Oh, somebody's coming. They're about to bum rush me off here. Hang on, you're going to see this big hook, and Pete's going to get dragged off to the side here in just a second. We're gathering all of. Oh my gosh, y'all! You've got such a treat. Guess who's coming up here right now? It's Miss Melissa. Oh, see. Hey, baby. How you doing?
How are you?
Work it, girl.
Yeah, I was a little worried. I was like, is the camera going to be too tall for me? Because I'm a shorty. So today, I'm going to talk about, since it's Valentine's, love and self-love. You know, a lot of people are looking for the right person, the right partner, and they want to know when's it going to happen for me. One of the most important things that you can do for yourself is such a cliche, but it's so true because that's why it's a cliche, is love yourself and learn how to love yourself. Because when you're confident and when you love yourself and you think you're sexy and you're just coming out in the world and you're like, I'm me and I love myself and I'm sexy and I don't care what you think. It's sexy. Men find that very attractive. You know, a lot of men want someone who can be independent. They can, have their own hobbies, think about their own, things they want to do. But and that to them is attractive. That draws love. The more you love yourself, the more confident you are, the more attractive you are. I know personally for my love relationship, the more I am just who I am, totally and completely, the more attractive my partner finds me. So how do you do that? One of the ways is to do different kinds of self-love things. So Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life, that's an excellent book for learning how to love yourself. You do a lot of inner child work with a lot of mantras, a lot of affirmations. Look in the mirror and tell yourself every day, I love you. Find one attractive thing about yourself every day, and say, hey, my eyes look really good today, or hey, my hair looks really good today, or, my lips look really good, or, the shirt looks really good on me. And as long as you can find one attractive thing about yourself or something that you love about yourself to focus on instead of thinking of all the other things that you can, oh, my butt looks big in this shirt, this pants, or, my hair looks bad today. The more you focus on the bad things, that's what you're going to get, people. So just think about the good things and think about, what you look good in, what you find attractive in. And if you feel attractive, other people are going to find you attractive too. And like I said, the mirror work with Louise Hay, I love you, telling yourself every day, 10 times in the mirror, in the morning, at night, and afternoon, I love you. That makes you, have more self-love. It makes you more confident when you look in the mirror. Plus, looking in the mirror. How many people, I know for a long time, I would never look at myself in the mirror because I really didn't like that much what I saw. And it wasn't that I wasn't attractive. I just didn't like what I saw in the mirror. I didn't want to look at what I, didn't found negative in the mirror. And so the more you can look in the mirror and the more you can look at yourself, the more attractive you'll find yourself, the better the relationship you'll have with yourself. And that in turn also builds a relationship with your intuition. It builds a relationship with your body. You can start to listen to your body and what it's trying to tell you, what it wants. And that's another way to find out where the right place is for you. If you can ask yourself, hey body, what do I want to do today? What do I want to eat today? If you're worried about what you weigh, just say, hey body, what do you want to eat? If you follow your body and look for the signs of what your body wants, then you will, your body will start to drop weight, because not only are you eating the things that make you happy, you're eating the things that are good for it, healing it, and sometimes it's not always what you think it is, So if you say, hey body, what do you want to eat today? And body says, I want a donut, eat a donut, feel good about it. Don't feel bad about the donut. I was talking to somebody about that the other day. If you feel bad about the donut and you think the donut's bad for you, well then yeah, it's going to be bad for you. It's going to make you fatter. But if you eat that donut and think this is the best donut I ever had and just savor each and every bite, then that donut is going to be nourishing to your body. It's going to be nourishing to your spirit, and it's going to make you happy. And then you can, you might find that, you want a donut every day, and then you get sick of the donuts. You won't want donuts anymore for like a whole year, which is good for your body. But so just being, kind to yourself and releasing judgment about your body, judgment about what you eat, judgment about what you think about yourself, what you wear. We have all these judgments about ourselves. And, if you were around somebody like that and you told them every day, oh, you look terrible in those pants, or, why are you eating that? You shouldn't eat that. Would you want to be in a relationship with that person? I know I wouldn't. I'd run fast and far. So one other thing that you can do to help build your relationship with yourself is, do caretaking things for yourself. Take a bubble bath, do something that makes you feel good, watch a funny movie, focus on happy things. One of the things I like to do is meditation, and I use a lot of stones. My favorite thing, my specialty is crystals. And I like to use different kinds of stones. I have different shapes, like this one is one of my little star travelers. She's a hematoid rose quartz. And the hematoid is hematite in rose quartz. And what that does is the rose quartz is really good for heart healing. So if you have a lot of trauma, a lot of inner child work you want to do, a lot of recovery from past relationships, childhood trauma, rose quartz is one of the best ones for that. And I have a couple. Here's another example of just a regular raw form of rose quartz. Well, it's polished and raw on the sides. But this is really good. Rose quartz is the ultimate heart healer. It's a combination of quartz and I forget what the other mineral is called, the rose quartz. But it basically has the properties of quartz and rose quartz, so you can look up both of those. And you can use it for a lot of different things. You can use it for meditation. You can carry it in your pocket. You can put it in the bathtub while you're taking a bath, and make you some like rose quartz water and soak in that for a while. People use it in tinctures. You can take it internally. Some of the stones you want to be careful because you can't take them internally. Rose quartz is fine. You can put it in like a tincture, make an elixir with it. But it helps you, raise your vibration, and it also helps, with self-love, releasing inner turmoil. You can also use different other kinds of stones. I like the heart shapes. Heart shapes help connect you to the heart. This one's a obsidian, or rainbow obsidian. This one, if you notice, it has a little heart on it too, which helps connect you to the heart. And then there's different forms. So sometimes you can find different shapes. I have a moonstone and a selenite. This one's a rainbow obsidian. This is good for working through layers. So if there's something that you want to release, you can use the rainbow obsidian for it. Rainbow obsidian you want to be a little bit careful with because it can be harsh. It's not as harsh as obsidian, but it will pull up your stuff. So you want to try to have something soft on hand with it when you're working with it, so you can meditate with it. I wouldn't carry it on me all the time because that could be bad. You'll be ready to hurt somebody. So when you have like something with rainbow obsidian, sometimes also you can sleep with things. Like if something seems to be harsh on you and it seems to bring up your stuff, sleeping with a stone is really good because it's an easy way for you to work out things. Your mind doesn't get in the way, your conscience doesn't get in the way. It just helps to release it in a more gentle, easier way. You wake up, you work through some of this stuff in your sleep. You might want to like have some rose quartz on hand. Again, rose quartz. You might want to have some of this on hand to work through whatever it is. If you're feeling kind of icky, rose quartz is good for that. There's also manganial calcite. It's hard to tell, but it's a soft pink and it has these stripes in there. And it reminds me of bubble gum. This is a really soft, soothing stone. Any of the calcites. I got a couple of different kinds of them. This one's a green calcite, which is a really good heart healer as well. So all of these I'm talking about today are heart healing stones, and they're good for working through traumatic energy, old relationship stuff, self-confidence. If you can love yourself and you're confident, then, like I said, can't stress that enough. It makes you a much more attractive person. And then I've also got, here's another little piece of manganial calcite, which it's a little bit hard to see. You can put it in your pockets. They have like little stone cages. We have a local rock shop, Dreammaker, and they do like little stone cages where you put things in. This one's flat, so it's good for different kinds of things. You can also lay on it, lay it on your heart when you're laying down and meditating, or if you're just taking a nap, or put it on your pillow. There's all kinds of different ways to do that. And I have another one that's kyanite. So the heart shape helps connect to the heart, and you can meditate with it and put one in each hand. And some combine really well together. And kyanite is a good auric cleanser too. So you can get some of that shady stuff out of your aura that's gotten stuck in there from past traumas, relationship-wise, romantic, family, whatever. So you can hold it in your hands and just hold one in each hand. And the heart shape in particular is really good. So it fits in your palm really well. Just kind of fits in there nicely, and just meditate with it. You sit with it. You can. I like to do that, and that's a really easy way to release, stuck stagnant energy. And then there's like the fluorite. This one is my fluorite straw traveler, and he's got some yellow and purple. Depending on what the fluorite is, fluorite's a really good protective stone. It's good for psychic protection. It's good for increasing awareness, self-love. It helps with mental stability also, and clearing, cleansing. And it's also very calming. It's a good mental focusing stone. And so if you want to work on something, if there's something in particular that you want to release, or something even you want to draw to, if you're working on yourself and you're feeling attractive and you feel like you're at a good spot in a good place, and you can always tell where you're at by the relationships you have around you. If you're attracting negative people and you're attracting people that are unfriendly, that want to use you, that are treating you poorly or manipulating you, well, then you might want to step off of that relationship track for a little while to work back on yourself some more. But if you feel like you're in the right place and you want to work on drawing more love to you, and you're working on, trying to draw a partner, you think about all the qualities that you want in your partner, make a list, make, all the good points that you want. Be very specific. The more specific you are, the more likely you are to have, to bring in the right person for yourself. But you also have to remember, just because that person doesn't have every single quality that you want, that doesn't make them the wrong person. You have to look at what's the most important quality. What's the most important thing to you? What makes you happy? And so you can think about that. Hold the crystal in your right hand if you're right hand dominant. If you're left hand dominant, put it in your left hand. So it depends on your dominant hand. Because if you're right-handed, your left is your receiving, and your right is your channeling and projecting. I couldn't think of that word. It escaped me for a minute. So your left is receiving, right is projecting. So you picture whatever it is you want to bring, and you can hold this against your third eye. Your third eye is not only your point of intuition, but it's also your point of creation, when you're thinking about something. And so just hold it to your third eye. I like to do it with the point facing whatever the main face of the crystal is. And you can close your eyes and picture the traits that you want in a person, the type of partner, and picture that feeling. The most important thing is feeling that feeling, what that feeling will bring up when you're with that right person. And picture it going from you down through your arm and into the crystal. And just hold it for a few minutes and just focus on that, and focus just on that with your crystal against your third eye, and charge that every day. You can charge it for about 5 minutes every day and have it in a special place. Make yourself like a little spot. If you want to, I say altar, because you want to honor that stone. That stone's working for you. It's helping you. It's trying to, make this happen for you. And you want to treat it gently. You want to treat it with respect, as with all stones, because they are little beings. They want to be treated with respect. If something's trying to help you, just don't toss it around and throw it around everywhere. So you want to put it in a comfy spot. I like to make sand bowls. I get like colored sand, depending on what I'm trying to accomplish. And if I'm putting in a specific corner, sometimes I put my, like when I'm working on relationship stuff, I put it in my relationship corner. And I make a little altar with a candle and a little bowl of sand. Pink sand if you want. You can find the pink sand. And then put some other stones around if you want to. But every day, you can light a candle, and that'll help amplify the energy of the crystal. And then go back to your crystal, recharge it, and have that focus. So the more this helps you focus. And that's one of the things that I like about crystals is they amplify the energy, and they give you a place to focus your energy on. And they give you something to hold on to. So you have this to hold on to instead of trying to visualize, which visualizing is fine, but some people aren't good at that, And so if you can't visualize it and you can't picture it mentally in your mind, just feel the feeling and feel that feeling run down through your arm into the crystal. And just do that every day. But it gives you something to just, something tactile to hold that helps some people. And depending on what the crystal is, like some of them have different shapes. This one has like a little, it's hard to see, but it has what they call like an Isis face. And Isis is the goddess of Egypt. She was known for her partner Osiris, putting him back together and re-healing him. So the Isis point is good for self-healing. So it works a lot with the self. So if you can find one that has like 5 points, it kind of comes up in a triangle and goes down and down. That's good for self-healing if you want to working on yourself and healing any kind of, stagnant energy. And that goes for not just love, but, any aspect of your life. And then you can also use things like selenite. Selenite's good for bringing light. So if you feel like you need some clarity in some aspects of your life, you're not sure why you're attracting what you're attracting, you can use selenite to do that. You can use selenite to bring light into your house too. It brings in positive, good energy. It's a real soft stone. Some people call it a moonstone, but it's really selenite. But it connects you to the moon energies too. This one is a moonstone, and it can be white also in different colors. And the moonstone's a really good feminine stone. It's good for assisting you in your intuition, building a relationship with yourself. It's protective for women. And your intuition is an important part of your everyday life, not just romantic, but in every aspect of your life. It helps you know which way to go. And it also helps you, particularly with picking the people in your life, because a lot of times you'll meet someone and sometimes you'll see something about them that you don't really like, but everybody else likes them and they look really friendly and you can't figure it out and say, okay, I'm just going to hang out with this person or date this person anyways. And then you realize, well, there was a reason you felt that feeling. So listening to your intuition and being in touch with your intuition is very helpful in that aspect. It can help you pick the right people, not just in romantic relationships, but in everyday relationships. And so that's also another important stone. Like I said, it's really good for women for travel in particular. It's good for connecting to your feminine self, the divine feminine, any goddess energy. It's really good for that. And let's see. I was going to talk about the, I forgot my hematite. But this has hematite in it. Hematite is generally black and shiny. And you can use it like whenever you're working with any of your love stones or any of your intuition stones, any stone that you want to work with, you can take the hematite and put it at your feet. And what that does is it grounds the energy. Oh, thank you. The lovely Cassandra brought me my hematite. But this is what it looks like. And it's magnetic. They have some forms of magnetic, which is good for arthritis. But they also have, this is just a regular piece. And hematite was also called the original bloodstone because when they cut it, it would be red. And so it's good for blood elements too, like kidney, liver, anything kind of blood diseases. Also good for that. And this would also be good for getting rid of like stuff that's like in the bloodlines. You know, people feel like, you know, sometimes maybe their family is cursed in their love lives, or they're just, you know, their family's angry all the time. They have a lot of angry family members in their life. Hematite's really good for that. But what you can do with a hematite is you take your rose quartz, or so I have 2 pieces of manganocalcite now, 1 in each hand. And what I would do is I would put my hematite at my feet, and at your feet, that helps to ground that energy in and pull that earth energy up as well. So that's a really good way to keep yourself grounded in every day, because, you know, that's another aspect that'll help you not only in your personal life, but in every aspect of your life, in your business, you know, and you're driving around even, you know, being grounded is really important to, you know, so you know where you're at and you can see what's coming before it hits you, literally sometimes. But yeah, basically, you know, working on your self-love, being grounded, you know, using your intuition to pick the right person, listening to yourself. You know, if you have an automatic response to someone, you know, ask yourself, what is that? You know, why do I feel that way about that person? And don't just dismiss it because, you know, everybody else thinks they're this way. You know, and just because they're a nice person doesn't mean they're the right person for you. You know, sometimes we meet people and they're really nice and they're great people, but you don't mesh and you try to make this relationship work, and it's really just not the right relationship for you. And so sometimes in that case, you know, it's time to learn when to let things go and when to try to make things work. And that's part of self-love too. You know, loving yourself is part of honoring yourself is part of loving yourself. And the more you do that, then the more that builds that relationship with yourself. Because we do have a relationship with ourselves, whether we realize it or not. You know, we're in a relationship with ourselves. Who's going to love us if we don't love ourselves? You know, and that's literal. Who's going to love you better than you can love you? Who knows what you like more than you? Nobody. You know, you can't expect somebody to just automatically glean psychically what you like. I mean, I know I do that all the time. I used to do that. I've learned my lesson about that. But how often do we expect our partner to just psychically know what we want? Well, he should know that. He knows I need this. I told him this every time. And why doesn't he know that? I know that about him and he doesn't know that about me. Well, you know, they can't. Not everybody's psychic. Not everybody tries to, you know, figure out what you want. You know, if you tell them what you want, they're happy to do it for you. And that's another important thing. Just tell people what you want. Be honest. Be upfront. You know, don't be afraid to say what you want. And that's one of the biggest things that I find that so many people, myself included, do is we're afraid to say what we want. We're afraid to admit what we want because we don't want to be selfish. We don't want people to think negatively of us. But sometimes and that's one of the most important aspects of self-care is being a little selfish sometimes. You know, if you need some time to yourself, don't be afraid to tell somebody, you know, say, I need some time to myself. If you need something, if you want something, tell them. You know, most people are happy to do it for you. They're happy to help you with that. But they'll never know unless you ask. And that's part of what Pete said, you know, if you don't ask, you don't get it. And, you know, and everything, money, love, follows joy. The more joyful you are, the more happy you are, the better things are for you, and the more things you bring into your life that you want. So that's my take on it. And I will let whoever's coming up next. This is Cassandra.
Thank you, Melissa.
Hey, baby.
It's such an amazing job. I love it that you have such a passion for crystals
I
and such
know.
great knowledge.
My little crystal peeps. And I really do look at them as people. They're not just crystals.
Right.
They're just peeps.
I love it. It's big. Makes me really proud of you.
I know, right?
All these beautiful women all around.
Woohoo.
How lucky am I? That's what I'm talking about. So who's next? Andrew, you come up next.
Is there any way to put this like closer down?
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah. Y'all about to. All is well. All is well. We're trying to set up y'all.
Yeah, it's a baby setup.
Sandra Stone King is here. You're going to see me kind of moving the camera just a little bit. So all is well.
It's gonna be a little. Sorry, we're working on a new. I don't even know where. Working on a new little bit over here. So, what I want to talk to you guys about today is how to outwardly manifest something for yourself for Valentine's Day. Sorry, it's a little, it's a little new. It's a little distracting with all this stuff up here. All right, let me clear this stuff out for you. So what I'm going to show you today is how to put together a little small ritual for yourself to either bring a lover or reunite a lover for Valentine's Day. And when Pete was talking about the power of the word, that is what we're going to expound on right now. There is nothing more powerful than the words that you speak. And when you speak these words, they manifest themselves into whatever situation your intent and your words have put out there. So as God's created this entire world in 7 days by speaking it, you are going to speak into creation a situation for yourself to enjoy your Valentine's Day a little bit better. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to work with, I'm going to show you how to work with the saints today. And this is like traditional hoodoo root work situation. Sorry, it's a little weird. The energy is really buzzy in here today. And I think it's like all the love talk and all of the, it's got all of this magnetic energy floating around. And it makes me feel like a cat with a laser pointer. So anyway, what we're going to do today is we're going to learn how to set up a candle vigil for ourselves to Our Lady of Charity. The reason why Our Lady of Charity is, this is who we're going to work with, is in my tradition, she's synchronized with Oshun, which is a goddess of, or an Orisha of love and sweetness and brings all of that wonderful stuff in. So what we're going to do today is we're going to set up a small space for you and show you how to create this for yourself. Now to start, I do suggest finding a space in your home that is not going to be disturbed. You can print out a picture of Our Lady of Charity. They have little prayer cards of Our Lady of Charity, whatever works for you. That's what we're going to start with. Okay. So what we're going to do in this space of ours, you're going to go to one of the Hispanic stores or dollar stores. They have these, we call them vigil candles or 7-day prayer candles, and you can get a red one. And the red has to do with the energy of love and passion and lust and all of that wonderful cool stuff that is so great for Valentine's Day. If you are working on a marriage and want to create more sweetness and love in a marriage, you can go to any hobby store and they have candles, little husband and groom and bride candles that you can use instead of a large color candle or a 7-day candle. You can get one of these bad boys, and that can help symbolize you and your significant other. They have them for men and women too now, so you can, any gender pair that you want. Totally works. And if you want to do this just for to bring a new lover to you, and you want to do something a little bit more heavier than just a regular 7-day candle, they do have candles with both penises and vaginas, and they have them in many colors, but I suggest red or something like this. It helps you pull in that lustful, passionate energy when you're looking for a good, clean lover for you for Valentine's Day. I mean, not everybody's into having relationships and want something long-term. Sometimes you just want to have somebody buy you a really great dinner and to have an awesome night with. So that's totally great too. This isn't, just for those people who want or are in a relationship, by chance. So what you're going to do is you're going to get these little household candles. Here in Huntsville, if you're in the area, the Dream Maker is where I get a lot of my little ones if I don't order from the supply company online. So what you're going to do is you're going to get 5 of these little bad boys. They're just little couple hours. They probably burn for about 3 or 4 hours. These little candles do. So you're going to get 5 of these in the color of yellow. Now, yellow is synchronized with Our Lady of Charity. It is also a color that helps with mental clarity, which you need a lot of. I know people with the emotions and everything that are surrounding this kind of love work, there's really nothing better to add into that than some mental clarity and some of that higher vibrations. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your candle, your 7-day candle. If you have one of these or one of the figures, you can put a hole in the bottom. But one of these guys, super easy, $1.98. You put a hole into the candle. The wax is paraffin. It's very soft. You can even push into it. Take a pencil or even a sharp like steak knife and create a hole for yourself. Pull out some of that wax. And on a little bitty piece of paper, you're going to write your name 5 times, your full birth name, your first, your middle, and your maiden name or your last name. And you're going to write it 5 times, teeny tiny, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you're going to turn it so your name is this way. And then you're going to write, bring me a lover, or you could write hearts. And you're going to do this, let's say 3 times, 3 or 5. Either one works. But write a single intent. Romantic dates, or hot date, or passion, whatever your main objective is, you write it that way. And then you roll it up really teeny tiny and you put it in the hole in your candle. And what you're going to add into that hole is a little bit of ground cinnamon. And cinnamon is not only one of both Oshun and Our Lady of Charity's favorite little bits or offerings. You're going to put some in here because it also heats up your work in a very positive way. The vibrations are very high, but it also adds that oomph, that push, and a little bit of spice for your work. You could add also almond oil. If you like, you can find this at Walmart. We're talking like 2 or 3 drops of it. I have rose oil here. You can add some rose oil. Any other passionate flower, you can, like if you have passion flower, or honeysuckle, or any of those really good florals, you can add a couple of that if you don't have rose. And clove essential oil. This stuff, if you're in Huntsville, I get my essential oils at Curly's on Governor's, Pearly Gates. So you can add a little bit of that. If you don't have the oil, you can add some of the spices from your kitchen cabinet. And that's the great thing about root work and conjure this way is that everything that you really need, you can find in your kitchen, which is absolutely fantastic. So you put a little bit of each into your hole and your candle, and you use the wax and you just push it down, so it's covered. And you set that down. And with these little guys, now you can do this for 1 day and only use 5 candles. I do suggest you get 25 total and do this for 5 days straight. So you take these little guys, some people put them on to stand them up. They have little stands that you can put them in. Other people, they use the tops of jars and lids or like milk jug lids, and heat up the bottom so it sticks straight up. And what you do is you take these little guys and you put them around your candle. I don't know if this is going to stand up as well as it should. So anyway, like that, all the way around, you're going to use 5 candles and put them around your middle candle. And what you can do to adorn your space, you can put it on an orange or a yellow cloth, underneath your picture. So your picture or your novella or whatever it is will be up here. You can use peacock feathers to put on your little space. Little pieces of gold or silver or roses, whatever you'd like that's really pretty and sweet and that's conducive to your work. And in little jars, you're going to put 1 jar of fresh cold water on one side, 1 little cup, and a little cup of honey. Honey sweetens your work and is an offering for the return on the work that you're asking being done. If you're asking for a lover to be brought to you, if you're asking for a hot date night, whatever it is, you're asking somebody or the saint or the divine to do work for you. So you need to pay them. And that's what we use the fresh water for, and we use the honey for that. Keep things nice and sweet and high flying for us. So what you do is you could either pull up Psalms 42 or 45 or any of the Song of Solomon's if you're of the Christian denomination. Otherwise, you could write your own prayer, something that has to do with, thank you so much. for listening to me. You know, I'm looking for help for this. You know, it's whatever's in my best interest, and put all that together. And when you do that, you light each of the yellow candles, and then you light your middle candle here. It's going to take a few hours for the yellow ones to burn down. You can leave this one going the entire time if you have it in a safe space. Otherwise, you can put it out after a couple of hours. You're going to do this for 5 nights. You're going to change the water and say your prayer as you're lighting the candles. And what you're going to do is you're going to speak your intent. You're going to say, please bring me a passionate lover that is healthy and safe for me. You know, you're going to speak forward, you know, please help my significant other and I have, you know, sweetness and passion in our lives. And there's nothing in relationships, there's nothing like having a relationship that is lacking that passion, that lust. And it's something very simple as speaking these words and asking for help, because we don't really have to do anything on our own. Everything around us is listening to everything that we say and all of the moves that we make in our life. When we speak wants and wishes, the powers of our words are like a prayer to the divine on its own. We have to be very careful with what we say. I am very guilty with losing my temper and saying things, even if you mean it, it doesn't mean it needs to go out there. And it, you know, it creates a lot of hostile energy, especially when you're dealing with lovers in romantic situations. So, you know, it's very easy to turn that around. Doing this for 5 nights puts you in a state of mind. You're conditioning yourself for success is what you're doing. You are putting forward your intent on top of asking the divine and an elevated being for help in any situation. Here it's Our Lady of Charity. You're also putting yourself in a state of mind and manifesting the energy for yourself to go forward and live into this energy set, this goal set that you've set aside. So these are very easy things. It's fun. Get your hands into it. It elevates your personal vibrations because you're praying and lifting yourself and your energy up to something higher than yourself. It really gives you a really great start. And the best thing about it is if you start it here and for 5 days, you're giving yourself a head start to have a really successful Valentine's weekend, which is what I want for everybody. Even if it is self-love that you're looking for, you can change that red candle to a pink one or to a single figure candle of a woman or a man. You can do that for yourself, you can do that for your partner, and you can do that for the unknown, whatever you would like to do. So anyway, I hope that that gives you guys something fun to do and something extra this weekend. There's nothing like having a Saturday and Sunday and realizing, you know what, I'm going to get my hands into a little energy work. That's what I like. That's what I do in my spare time. And so anyway, that is what I suggest for a super easy, super safe, and super productive weekend for yourself. Manifest something good. And if you're not looking for anything extra this Valentine's Day, at the very least, treat yourself. I know it's a commercial holiday, but you know, to be honest, it never really hurts to go buy a big thing of chocolate and have a reason to have a cheat day and sit down and watch some ridiculous TV. Do something that makes you feel good. It puts you in a frame of mind of, you know, I'm valuable, I'm worth it, all that wonderful stuff, which we know that you are. We just want to make sure that you know that too. So anyway, super quick on me today, not too much. But I hope that helps. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please find me online. You can find me on Facebook. My professional page is Lucy Grasso, LUCYPREGESO, or cjstoneking07@gmail.com. And that is all, my lovely people. I hope you had a magnificent weekend and get into a little bit of an adventure. And that's all we could ask for. Bye.
Wow, Cassandra brought the heat tonight. I'm very excited about this, and I know what I'm doing this weekend. So I need to be somebody. Anyway, enough about me. Now is one of my favorite people, Miss Mary Catherine Honeycutt. Don't you look beautiful tonight? Come here, give me a big old hug. All right. What you got for us now? You got something exciting? I'm very excited.
I've actually got something pretty personal stuff.
Oh,
It'll be a little
okay.
bit different than,
Okay.
than what y'all did, so I chose to go last.
All right.
I'm MK, and I think I've taken a little bit different route than my cohorts there did. And, you know, I started thinking, why did I go in this direction? So it got kind of personal, but I guess I've got, you know, my background's in counseling and social work, so I decided to look in and see what love had meant to me in the past and how things have changed for me since, you know, being in my 40s versus being in my 20s and what love meant to me then. So we were a little bit more prepared this time. I don't know how long I'll stick to this, but, you know, I'll try. But so what I did, you know, we were improving on, you know, your look on love, how to redefine it, how to define love, you know, looking for love in the right places and stuff like that. So what I did is I chose to kind of reflect back on myself and see what love meant to me in the past versus what it means to me now. And, you know, when I started kind of looking at it, I thought, golly, you know, it didn't look like love meant that much to me in the past. You know, if you just kind of looked at it just as it was, I mean, I burned through a few marriages and, you know, because I guess I went into it, you know, reflecting on it very selfishly. It was like I was very giving to the world, but I was very selfish when it came to home. And so what I figured out was, it's kind of similar to what I've said in the past. I had to look at these marriages and say, what was I doing? And really, the common denominator was me. You know, I was in all of these relationships that, you know, for all intents and purposes, I guess you could say failed, or it seemed like they failed. But in reality, they weren't a failure. They were building blocks and learning blocks, for sure, for me to actually build up to where I could actually have a productive and loving relationship at home to what I was really showing the world, but not really showing at home. So that's kind of the point of view that I'm coming at or coming from. Let's see. So, okay, well, I've already gone through the front part of my notes here. So basically, I had to look in the mirror and take a critical eye at myself and how I treated love and give myself some constructive criticism. I felt like it was very much like learning how to do anything. You know, if you start out drawing stick figures and you want to improve on your artistic abilities, you have to be able to take constructive criticism. I was really able to give it pretty well, but was I able to take it? Not so well. Because I know a lot of people tried to help me and tell me, but was I going to listen? No, because I already knew. I just didn't, you know, I just thought I knew. But so I took a critical eye at myself and what I was doing wrong. And what I looked at is, number one, I was fiercely independent and I was hard pressed to bend or compromise. And I looked at it then as, well, that's just the way I am. And I looked at it as that was good. But now I look at it and I thought, well, that was my choice, but it really didn't work very well for me. Am I still independent? Yes. But am I much more willing to compromise? Yes. Because what I found out is that I was asking other people to do what I myself was not willing to do. Because as far as I was concerned, if you didn't like it, that was your problem. I was going to do and be whatever it was I was going to do and be. It didn't matter. But I wasn't so forgiving or so easy when it came to what they wanted to do. So therein kind of led to the breakdown in the relationship. So I looked at myself, and that was one thing that I was doing. So when I figured out that that wasn't just the way I was and it was a choice, then I was able to make a different choice. Because if you're in a space that you say, well, that's just the way I am, well, then that's just the way you'll always be. But if you can get into a space and say, well, that was my choice to be that way, then you can actually make another choice to change. So then I also had to realize that what I was doing is I was looking at this other person and seeing what I thought their potential was. And that's what I loved. Instead of looking at that person and saying, I love you just the way you are. And I think a lot of people make that mistake because we do see a lot in other people that maybe they don't see in themselves. And that's okay. But then you throw the expectation out there that I'm going to help them become that because that's what I love. When maybe they don't want to do it. Maybe they like the way they are right then. And that's okay. But do you love the way they are right then? And are you going to be able to love that person exactly the way they are and leave them alone? Because see, that's what I expected from them. I totally expected them to look at me and say, oh, sweetie, I love you just the way you are. Not the way I want you to be, or I think you're going to be, but the way you are. But was I doing that? No. And that was a very jagged pill to swallow because I thought I was doing the right thing. But like I said, I was learning and I was young. So I had to do to myself, I think I was doing to others, is what can I do to improve myself so that I can have a loving relationship and have the relationship that I've always wanted. So that's what I did. And Melissa talked about looking in the mirror and being able to say, I love you, and really mean it. And I started doing that. And it's something that I did with clients. But yet again, it was something that I wasn't necessarily doing for myself. So yeah, that's pretty hard when you realize that you're out there and you're telling people, try this and try that, and you see it working for them. But then all of a sudden you realize, well, gosh, I'm not exactly in the best place in my life and what's going on. It's because I wasn't willing to do it for myself. So I started doing that. I started doing the mirror and reflecting back to myself what I loved about myself. I started, instead of being critical, I started saying, this is what I like about myself. And dang, I'm looking okay today, and focusing on that instead of, whew, my hair don't look so good because you know what? I mean, everybody else thought that too. But if I thought, like she was saying, you carry yourself well and you love yourself and you project that, you're all of a sudden going to start attracting people that are like that. So that was another thing. You've got to be what you want to attract. Would you want to be in a relationship with you? Now I can say, yeah, I think I would like to be in a relationship with me. I mean, I'm pretty cool. I mean, I'm all right. I'm easygoing, not like I was before. I'm a heck of a lot more easygoing now than I was 20 years ago. But looking back on how I acted then, no, I really don't think I would have wanted to be in a relationship with me. I mean, I'd have been kind of tough to deal with at home, but out in public, it was great. At work, it was fabulous. With my clients, oh, I was just the best thing in the world. Oh, wait, I thought. But at home, whoo, no, I would not have wanted to be in a relationship with me. But like I said, now, yes. And I see the benefit of being giving to the person that you love, doing these things, these little things that mean a lot. Cooking breakfast, saying, hey, have a nice day. Little things, sending a message saying that you love them, that you're thinking about them, that you miss them. That means a lot to people. Maybe I would have done it before if we'd have had cell phones. Am I dating myself now? Well, I did say 20 years ago I was married, so, I wasn't exactly 10. But, little things matter. Okay, I think I've covered it. But I think sometimes we also start confusing what love is with us with an unconditional love. And I think that makes it kind of unrealistic because we are human and we do have conditions to our love, whether we realize it or not. God is unconditionally loving. No matter what we do, say, be, behave, whatever. God always will love us through anything. But are we willing to love other people through anything and everything? No, I can't say that. So, but can we get close to it? Probably. We can try. So I've learned to not put so many conditions on the love and try to be more unconditionally loving and love the person for who they are. Because that's what I want. You know, that's what I wanted. But like I said, I wasn't willing, what I expected from other people, I wasn't willing to do for them. So I had to learn how to do that. Because like I said, I mean, I was the common denominator and all that stuff. Now I could say all day long what they did wrong, but that wasn't productive. I did it before, and then looking back, it really wasn't productive on teaching me how to be a better person in a relationship. And then that's where the mirror talk, the being honest and taking a critical eye with yourself, being able to take constructive criticism. And I don't mean just criticizing yourself and saying what you've done wrong in these other relationships, but just being able to constructively do it, take it, and then use it to make a change. But self-love is the key, because if you can love yourself, other people can love you and you can give love to other people. But if you don't love yourself, that is what you're projecting. So you're not going to get a lot of it in return. No, it's, you know, some people kind of cringe when you say self-love because they think of it as selfish, but no, what I was doing before was very selfish. But being able to love yourself and who you are and for what you are and what you look like and how you act, that's a good thing. Because like we said, that's what you project. You know, we're all connected. So when we do learn about ourselves and we do connect with that deeper, that on a deeper level with ourselves, then we're more likely to be able to connect at a deeper level with somebody else. But I also tried to control a lot. And when you can let go and accept that no matter how much you try to control, I mean, number one, how many times have you made plans and it just kind of falls apart and things just happen anyway? So if you can take that out of the equation and the frustration out of the equation and just kind of accept and just do, and like they talked about before, just follow what you feel inside, I think that becomes, you know, a feel good and a better route to being able to be in love and have a loving relationship and being able to love yourself. Like Cassandra said, you know, looking for that. You know, sometimes we're looking for a little extra, but she covered that quite effectively, I think. So, we'll let her, we'll leave it at what she said. But I will say, when I was single and I was using things to attract, hematite did work very well for me. Now, all the oils and all the stones and the, you know, tricks of the trade or whatever you want to call them, you know, they'll work and they will attract things and people to you. But always remember, number one, the power is inside of you. So you're empowering these things to do this for you. And they do not have discernment. So, you know, when you're throwing that out there, you know, you're going to reel in whatever you catch on that hook. It doesn't say, oh, no, I think we need to attract this one to our mind. No, it's going to be everybody. And then you have to use discernment to sift through them for yourself and see what you like. But how do we create the changes? Well, for what I did is, like I said, I looked in the mirror. I used mantras, prayer, to change. Because actually I looked at what I did with my clients and I applied that to myself. So mantras do work, you know, and it's just like prayer. And I like to be specific, and I was specific, but there are also mantras that just help change happen in your life. And that's kind of where I'm at now, is being able to say a mantra and know that the correct change will happen and that I'll be able to recognize it. But so I would use the mantras, the mirror talk, and that's very effective. you can even write down what you want in a person and then look at it from your point of view. And is that what you are? So be what you want to attract. It's law of attraction. So at least, maybe you know what you're getting. I don't know. But I just know that if you are somebody that you would be in love with, then maybe you will be able to attract somebody that you will be in love with and that will be able to be in love with you. But that's it. I was just going to be a little personal there. I think I turned 8 shades of red, but that's it. That was my story.
Yay, thank you, darling. I'm so proud of you. Good job. And that's why I'm having such a fun time with tonight, is that we're all being so real and just, really expressive about who we are. It's a scary space to really be so real and vulnerable, especially when you're up on a stage, talking to thousands of people I know. So, but I'd really kind of like to just wrap up and bring up some things. And every single one of these beautiful ladies has brought up sort of some different aspects about love that I think is really key to really go back and really take a look at. And I think here in the Western world especially, we have this whole concept of, the knight in shining armor, swooping us up on the white horse and taking us off to the castle, this concept of forever love, this concept of, being rescued, this concept of us not being complete. If you remember the famous movie Jerry Maguire, you're complete. And it's really about love complementing us and not completing us, because you know what? You are enough. You are whole. You are complete in who you are. And the surest path to unhappiness is to expect somebody else to make you happy. That's the surest path, because each one of us, there's 2 things I can tell you about every single person. Number 1, we're all lazy creatures. And number 2, we're all self-focused. And we have to be. We absolutely have to be self-focused, because we have to feed ourselves. We have to take care of ourselves. So in order to expect someone else to make you happy, that's really the clearest sign to insanity. And we all do it, because everybody is self-centered. Everybody is self-focused. And that's just the way that we are, really just built to be. And so the other thing I really kind of wanted to talk about besides that is finding love really instead of in yourself, instead of being rescued. And something that Mary Catherine really talked about, I'd like to really kind of bring home, is I'd like to ask everybody out there to really list 10 things about your partner or whoever it is, whatever energy it is that you want to bring into your life, and then you become them. I had a friend, she made a list of 100 things that she wanted her mate to have. And by her estimation, he had 99 of them. And they had a great relationship for about a year, then they had kind of a little falling off. But you know what? They put it back together again, and they have an amazing story. So what I'm saying for you is that you absolutely can bring that energy in. You absolutely can list the ways you want to feel, the aspects that you want, the hair color, the eye color, how you want them to treat you, You can absolutely make a list of those things, and it's very important for you too, because if there's one thing I want you to take home from tonight that we've really talked about, and I think we've all touched about it, is the power of your words, the power of your expectations, the power of what you call forth, because you absolutely can call forth your life. The one hesitation you have about that is that you think you're the one that has to figure out how it happens, and that's not your job. That's not your job. Your job is to call forth how it's going to be, call forth what will be, make that decision, and stand firm in that faith. Because what's faith? Faith is knowing without seeing. Faith is a certainty without having a shred of evidence surrounding you. That is what faith is. So learn how to walk your life in the state of grace, walking in faith. Does anybody else tonight have anything else? Does anybody else want to, are we all ended for the night? Is that it? All right. Well, gosh, y'all, we so appreciate you tuning in here for the Important Power of Joyful Living. You're finding love in all the right places. We've had a great time. We'll join you again next month. I know y'all just can't wait. I can't either. Thank you so much, loves, for being here with us, and we'll talk to you soon.